Hi everyone, welcome to today's Uprise lunchtime webinar. Are you busy or are you productive? With me, Nigel Pollack. If you can hear me, can you please say hi in the chat just to confirm that everything is working smoothly? Hey, hi. There you are, fantastic. Great response. Okay, let's get going. Are you busy or are you productive? First of all, let's productively acknowledge the Kumbangare peoples, who are the traditional owners of the country upon which I'm sitting. They are the traditional custodians of these lands which were never ceded. And I pay my respect to their elders past, present, and I do honour their emerging elders who have a tough job ahead of them. Warm welcome to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people here today, and also acknowledge each of you and the lands upon which you're sitting, and acknowledge the spaces in which you're inhabiting, which through this technology you are allowing me to come into. So thank you. So I'm a psychological coach at Uprise. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a counsellor. I work as a coach. I've also got lots of other qualifications in business and conflict resolution, and that's the expertise that I bring to these sessions. I do many sessions. In fact, that's my day. That's what I do all day, every day. I talk to people about their lived experience, about their challenges, and I support people to move past those challenges, including helping people to be more productive, and in particular to identify what their goals are in life and how to move more towards those goals. And even as I'm saying it now, I'm thinking back on some of the conversations that I've had. And the last conversation I had was very much about supporting a person to really clarify what it is that they want in their life. And that comes into this conversation about today, about whether you're busy or productive. You can use the chat heaps, just plonk your thoughts in there, plonk your feelings in there, plonk your questions in there. It's easy to follow in this format, and I'll see what you're saying, and I will respond. Okay, so what are we looking at today? We're going to look at these words, busy and productive. I'm actually really interested in this topic because it's become common for me to say to people, busy is the new success. And busy is the new good. We used to say to people, hey, how are you? And the stock answer would be, I'm good. But that's changed. Now we ask people, hey, how are you? And they say, I'm busy. And so there's been this kind of cultural shift where we used to want to be good, but now we want to be busy. And it's interesting that's occurred. And you're going, well, we don't want to be busy, but yeah, really busy. And I'm really busy. I find life really busy. And it's really interesting. We're using this technology. Many of you are likely to be sitting at home, working from home. You might have sort of got flexible work arrangements where you're only working a few days a week, and yet we're all super busy. We've got all this wonderful technology really the purpose of technology is to make life easier. But has our technology made our life busier? So what does it mean to be busy? What is this busy of which we speak? What does it mean to be productive? How is being productive different to being busy? And then how do you turn your busy into productive? Because it can be done, and it's not that hard. So let's start with our brain, because our brain is the driver. So I'm just going to do a little quick brain description. And you can see there on the left-hand side, I've got busy, and the right-hand side, I've got productive. Now, my hands are flipped, so it might actually be that it's like that. So busy is driven by back here. Yeah, this is and our brain literally has evolved from the back and the bottom to the top and the front. And we call this back part the amygdala, and we call it the reptilian brain, because if you look at the brain that a lizard has or a crocodile, then that's the same thing that we've got in the back of our brain. And hence this logic around us evolving originally from reptiles and birds. Then you've got this other brain that kind of wraps around over the top of the lizard brain, and that's now referred to as the mammal brain, the mammalian brain. It's the furry creatured brain. So the reptile brain is all about fight, flight. It's about, how do I survive? Yeah, I need to be able to run away if there's something bigger and scary than me. I need to be able to fight if it's roughly equivalent to me, or I think that I can beat it or eat it. And I need to be able, the third F is fornicate, and I need to be able to reproduce. So that's what our reptilian brain does. So when you feel sexual urges and sexual desires, that's coming from that reptilian brain. When you need to go to the toilet, reptilian brain. When you need to eat, you're feeling hungry, reptilian brain. When you need to feel scared of something dangerous and run away, or get into a fight with something that it might otherwise threaten your existence, then that's your reptilian brain. Mammal brain is social. Remember, mammal brain says, let's connect, let's work together, let's hang out together. We're warm. We know there's warmth. The more bodies that cuddle together, the warmer we are. The last thing that we want as a mammal is to be ejected from the group. Like literally, mammals, monkeys, dogs, not so much cats, but sometimes cats, but horses in particular, other stock animals. It's all about being allowed to be included in the group, and the greatest fear is being ejected from the group. So that's what our mammal brain drives. Our much more human brain is right up here at the front. Yes, we call it the prefrontal cortex. That's where we have language, ideas, concepts, artistic visions. We're able to conceptualize. We're able to sort of picture things in space and move them around and put them in different places. And we're able to connect with the future. Yeah. One thing that reptiles and other mammals can't do is they can't piece together a timeline between past, present, and future, and they can't use their imagination up here in the prefrontal cortex to manipulate a sense of time, which is what we need to be able to do if we're going to be productive. Got to watch the time. I often get caught up in the early bits. All right, so let's talk about what it means to be busy. So what differentiates busy from being productive in other states is that busy tends to be frantic and rushed. You can see this guy, he's got all sorts of things going on. He's trying to have ideas, but he's also watching the clock. He's also got his to-do list. He's also trying to work on a task. He's got some emails that he needs to respond to. And this franticness, this rushedness, it's driven by an anxiety, and it's kind of a fear-driven thing. I've got to keep busy. I've got to keep busy. I've got to get this thing done. And if I'm being busy, then I'm being purposeful, and then I'm actually not wasting my time. But actually, very often, they can't be further from the truth. Busy tends to work hard. Yeah. The message of busyness is, if I work harder, then I'm trying to find another word, but if I work harder, then I'm doing better. The word I was going to use was success. Yeah. If I'm working hard, then maybe I'm going to be successful. And, there's also a cultural aspect to hard work is what creates success. And there's some truth in that hard work does lead to success. But the hard work of busyness just says, all right, I'm not quite getting where I want to go. It's like being in a treadmill or treading water. It's like, I've got to work harder. I've got to work harder. I've got to work harder. But that's driven by feelings of stress. It's driven by a stress response in the body that says, okay, I'm not enough. Whatever I'm doing, it's not enough. I'm not getting those things that I want. So I need to work harder. I need to keep doing more and more and more. But as you can see, it gets pretty stressful. Busy tries to multitask, tries to do many things at once, has multiple windows open, checks the email, checks Teams, checks Slack, checks text messages on the phone, checks Facebook, deals with the kids, talks to the boss, has an interruption from a colleague, but then wonders why nothing gets done. Has a sense of, what did I achieve today? What did I actually progress? I worked all day long. What did I actually make happen? There's another level of this that's about the way that our brains work, and like these two different layers of focus. We've got this kind of top layer of focus where we do this kind of multitasking, but we never really drop into anything. And then we've got this deeper layer of focus, which I'll talk about when we talk about productivity. Think about people who are multitasking. If you're just jumping between things, then anything that comes, you will grab hold of. And this is where this next point comes in. Busy says yes. Yes, I can do that. And we've got these lovely like quotes that really reinforce this. Give a busy person more work. Have you heard of that one? Give a busy person more work. I believe it. I subscribe to it. I'm like, if there's somebody who's like, no, I've not got not much to do. I think about my teenage children. I'm like, oh, can you do that, please? The thing doesn't happen. If I give it to myself, the busiest person in the household, hey, it gets done. And that might happen in your team too, where you've got there's some people who are like really busy and you give them a task, they're like, yep, and they do it. But this busy person says yes to everything, but finds that they don't have time to do anything. Doesn't have time to spend time with their friends. Socializing, doesn't have time to spend time with the kids. Doesn't have time to spend time with their partner, their loved one. Doesn't have the time they want to spend with their aging parents. Doesn't have time to go for a walk in the bush. Doesn't have time to go for a swim in the ocean or the river or the lake or the pool. Don't have time. They say yes to everything. People say yes. This is something I've been working with recently with people, so I'll stay with it for a second because I had a conversation with a gentleman recently, and he was saying, "Yeah, it's me. I sit in the meeting, and I know that I don't have any time. And I'm at full capacity, but then, that somebody says, oh, we really need to get this thing done. Who can do it?" And I'm like, my brain goes, well, I can do it. I know how to do it. And up before he knows it, up goes his hand. But then what follows is this sense of overwhelm, of having so much to do, but this sense of getting nowhere, not achieving anything, not actually moving towards something that's valued and important. So, how is productive different? So our productive person still has their laptop open, they're still doing their work, but they're relaxed. It's not driven, it doesn't have this urgency that's driving it. It doesn't have this push, pressure. And that urgency is very often driven by deadline. That's something I'm going to come back to in a moment as well. This feeling of, it's got to be done by this time, got to be done by that time. If I don't do it by this time, then that person will be annoyed with me, or that person won't think that I'm doing my job well enough. The other part of it is it's focused, and focused is really important. What we're going to keep coming back to in terms of the difference between being busy and being productive is this idea of being able to focus. So productive is relaxed and focused. Productive works smarter, not harder. It uses systems, processes, templates. It uses email sorting systems. It automates as much as possible. It delegates almost everything. Yeah, this idea that anything that someone else can do, give it to that person. And there's people who will learn valuably from doing the things that we do without thinking about it. So we do it without thinking about it, but it's taking up our time. And it's that time that sort of each day at a time, it's 5 o'clock. I feel like it's on the wrong side. So here's 5 o'clock, and here's the time. And it just, every day goes like that. Another day begins. And then it's this pressure up to the end of the day. And then what we do is we get really uncomfortable with that pressure because we're so busy. So what do? We move it from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, or 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, or 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So we create this sense of giving ourselves more space. But actually what we're doing is we're taking away from the rest of our life. So work smarter, not harder. Productive is driven by purpose. So this is that. So focus and purpose are the real keys and the real takeaways from this session. Purpose is about meaning. Purpose is about an end goal. Purpose is about a vision that's situated in the future and that feels personally meaningful to you. And it's that drives you rather than all of the other pressures of, oh, I need to be good enough, I need to meet this person's expectations, I need to meet this other person's deadlines. Productivity is driven by an internal and the intrinsic sense of purpose. So then towards that purpose, feeling relaxed, feeling focused, the productive person does deep work. Deep work is when you get inside a complex concept and you work through the detail of how to ensure that that complex concept connects effectively with the future vision and with the people that are needed to ensure the success of that future vision. And does that deep work without getting distracted. So I find myself all the time, I'm in the middle of a piece of deep work and then suddenly I'm checking my emails and I'm like, how did I get here? Or there's a message comes through on my phone and I check it. I pick up my phone, I check my phone. And then I'm somewhere else entirely from where I meant to be. How did I get there? Productive does deep work and doesn't get distracted. It turns off the phone, turns off all of the alerts. I'm often having coaching and therapy sessions with people through the internet, and you can hear the ding, 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 and you see their eyes go to the corner as they check the alert. I'm like, oh, maybe we could turn off the alert. And one of the struggles that I have with doing this, the kind of work that I do with clients through this format, is that I need to do deep work. They come to me because they want to allocate this hour to do deep work. But they've arrived in front of the device in which they don't do deep work. They've been doing busy, frantic, shallow work. So they arrive with me in the same state. Ah, there's an alert. Yeah. I'm going to do my personal therapy, my personal coaching at this shallow level. Doesn't work. Can't do it. Need to be able to go inside, conceptualize past, present, future, the complexity of being a human being living on planet Earth with other complex human beings, making sense of all of that. We can't do that at this shallow level. Doesn't work. Nor does any kind of future focused project work. You need to be able to not get distracted. Productive knows how to say no and prioritizes what's really important. So knows how to say no. Sometimes I say to people, well, maybe you can learn to say no. And this look comes over their face like I've just slapped them. Like, say no. But successful people, productive people, people who really get stuff done, they say no, and they say no a lot. I've been listening to an audiobook recently. It's by a guy called Tim Ferriss, and it's called Tools of Titans, and I'm quite taken with it because Tim's he's a podcaster and he's interviewed hundreds and hundreds of like all the famous successful people, and he's just asked them all these questions about, well, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? And some of these things that we're talking about today, when it comes to productive, some of these themes are really common through these interviews. Say no. Don't do the boring stuff. Don't do the unimportant stuff. Prioritize what's important and focus on that. So this is a quote from Dwight Eisenhower, former president of the USA, and it's sort of been developed into a model. It's about identifying what's important. And Eisenhower said, what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. And sometimes that actually gets translated or transformed into what is important is never urgent, and what is urgent is never important. It's probably not quite true, but the message is significant. And the Eisenhower matrix just emerged from this statement. It actually came from a university lecturer at a university where Eisenhower had been. But there's this matrix that organizations and successful it's productive people use when thinking about what to do and when to do it. And asking yourself these questions: is it urgent? And is it important? If it's urgent and it's important, well, then in terms of a priority, you better do it. If it's important but not urgent, well, I needn't do it now, but I might want to make a plan for when it needs to be done. If it's urgent but not important, well, then someone else can do it. I need a PA. Yeah, I need someone else that I pay to do that for me. If it's not urgent and it's not important, you know what? I shouldn't be doing it at all. And it's interesting. I just even does this matrix downplay the importance of having fun? No, because I don't think so. Because having fun is important. Is it urgent? Maybe not. But it depends how long it's been since you've had fun. And probably depends how old you are. Because if I'm 7, I would say that having fun is urgent and important almost all of the time, which is why I see my kids having fun as much as they possibly can, because for them it's urgent and important. But sitting here talking to you, I've just had this experience today of which I have every day, of opening my emails and going click, 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 delete. Now that's stuff that's not important. It's not urgent. I need to eliminate that. Now, I'm pretty good at saying this is spam, get rid of it. But there's stuff I'm like, no, I might well look at that. But actually, I should be sending all that stuff automatically to a junk folder, so it not to a promotions folder that I might check later one day. But though, I know what happens to those folders. You pretty much never check them. But I need to be chucking it all into a folder so that it doesn't have to be dealt with by me on a daily basis. Needs to be eliminated. So what's important? How do you determine what's important? And this is the answer to that question around, does this matrix downplay the importance of having fun? Why are you doing what you're doing? And when you ask yourself this question, why am I doing what I'm doing? You find that it's like layers of the onion. It just keeps going, well, there's one layer. I'm doing it because I need to make money to pay for my mortgage. Oh, but why am I paying a mortgage? Well, because I want to own my own home. Oh, why do I want to own my home? Because I want to feel stable and secure, and I want to provide a stable and secure home for my family. Oh, why do I want to do that? Because I want to enjoy my life, and I want my family to enjoy their life too. Oh, so my greater purpose is actually about me and my family enjoying our life in a safe environment. Interesting. What's my vision? Well, my vision is that me and my family are enjoying this life where we feel safe and we have fun with one another. And so what's the end goal? The end goal is that feeling, that experience of safety, security, of having fun. Now, that can be put into any context. In a work context, it's more likely to be, why are we doing what we're doing? We're doing this because we want to make a contribution to people's experiences of whatever it is that your employer does. What's the greater purpose? Well, to ensure that our customers and a growing number of customers actually have this experience that we're wanting them to have. What's our vision? Now, our vision is that everyone gets to have this experience if they choose to have it. And what's the end goal? Well, to make sure that we've got products and services and a distribution system that ensures that this is available to everyone. Okay, so now we've got our end goal. We've got clarity around what might be important. To determine what's important, there's this lovely RICE model. Yeah. And I like rice because, rice is really important, because without rice, Asia would be starving. So rice is really important. And what is rice? Rice talks about reach. This is a way of and you can actually put a score on rice. What they do is you give them all a score out of 10 and see what you end up with. So reach, how many people will be affected by this action that I'm considering? What will the impact of this action, this project, this task be on other people? How confident are you that you can make this project happen? How are you confident are you that you can actually succeed in what you're trying to achieve? And then effort. How much time, effort, and investment will it take? The other part of this equation it brings in the sort of the urgency component and determines where in these quadrants it falls. And what you do is you sort of can add each up out of 10, add each up to get a number, and then you put it over a number out of 10, another number out of 10, which is I think it's the energy that's required to make it happen. I didn't put a slide up on that, so don't quote me on that one. But this is a way of thinking about what's important, how many people will it influence, how much of an impact will it, how many people will it influence, how much of an impact will it have, how confident are we that we can make it happen, how much time, effort and investment will it take. What's urgent? But what's urgent tends to be driven more by deadlines, by other people's expectations. It's the question of when is this required? And if you go back to Eisenhower's statement, rarely is something important actually that urgent. And rarely is something that seems so urgent actually that important. Does it really need to be done? Does it really need to be done by you? Does it really need to be done perfectly? And that's the other thing that comes up when you look at this comparison of busyness versus productivity, and that is around perfectionism. That there's a possibility that we tend to get stuck in busyness because of a tendency to try and make things perfect, write the perfect email, appear to be perfectly on top of everything all the time. So responding as quickly as possible to every single email that we receive from every single person, particularly if we're receiving emails from people that we perceive to have authority over us or to be able to influence our experience in our careers, in our workplace, or our otherwise have impact on our lives. And so we prioritize based on rationale that suggest importance, but actually it's about an inner sense of urgency. To help with productivity, to help with being clear about what's important and what's urgent, really good tip is to schedule everything. Now, I schedule everything, so that I've started to do in the last few years. And in a sense, it does make me feel busy. But then when I step back, I realize that I'm increasingly focusing on scheduling what's important. And when I start to see things in my calendar that aren't that important, that might be urgent because I put them in my calendar for a certain day, I start to think to myself, you know what, how do I get that out? How do I free up that time for something that's actually more important for me because it takes me closer to my vision and takes me closer to my purpose? So when they say schedule everything, schedule fun, schedule time with friends, schedule time with your partner, schedule time with your kids, schedule time chilling out and doing yoga, schedule time doing whatever other physical activity you do, schedule the time that you're going to go camping or on a holiday or for a bushwalk or for a swim in the ocean or the river or whatever else it is you like to do. Schedule that time in. Schedule in some spontaneity. Schedule in some spontaneity. Schedule in some fun time. Schedule in some joker time. Put it in and go so that it's there. It's dedicated, and actually it's very liberating. It surprisingly doesn't create a sense of restriction and structure. It creates a sense of, I've actually created in my schedule the life that I want. And scheduling now is easier than it's ever been because we're able to sync our schedules across multiple devices. Hey, Teresa, can we get the link to the feedback, please, now? Thank you. Open plan workspace and no capacity to delegate limit some of these options. Yeah, open plan workspace can be really problematic. How do you focus? How do you clearly communicate to your colleagues, I'm in a deep state, I don't want to be interrupted? And that question of, then she said, no capacity to delegate. They've said, no capacity to delegate. We'll start to then think about, okay, where and when and how might be some delegation be possible. So then once you've figured out what's important, once you've scheduled everything, focus to the best of your ability. Now, I say best of your ability because ADD, ADHD, Asperger's, autism. We've got all of these things that we now know about that have now been medically categorized. They've always been there, of course, but now they've been medically categorized. And so it's really important to go, hey, you know what? You've got your own limitations. You are a unique human being, and you need to figure out for yourself what's possible for you and how best for you to get that deep focus when you need it. And when your mind is getting busy, wear headphones. Wear headphones to signify to your colleagues that you're focusing on work and can't chat. Yep. Boom. Get nice big ones. Put them over your head. I bought my son for Christmas, 16-year-old son, these big pink ones with little kitty cat ears that sparkle. But yeah, that's what that says to me. It's like, here's a big sign that I am not here, and you can try and talk to me, but I'm deep focus and I'm not going to listen. But then when I take them off and you want to interact with me, fine, because that's in my schedule that I'm going to do my checking email, checking messages, checking Teams, checking Slack, and having a chat to my colleagues who are interested. When your mind is getting busy, notice it, be conscious about it, act on it, make a choice to go, hey, do I really need to be busy with it right now? Is this really important? Is this really that as urgent as my mind is telling me that it is? All right, thanks everyone. Really appreciate your time today. It'd be great if you could put some feedback in the feedback form. Just can you click on that link? Yeah, you can click on that link. Schedule time to learn. Schedule time with your husband. Otherwise, it seems like an extra job. Yeah, always too tired. Schedule time with your lover. We all deserve that special time. And I had that conversation with someone else yesterday too. Got to schedule the time to make sure that it works for both of you, because not everything works for everyone, and we need to, especially with our intimate partners, we need to be able to negotiate and maybe even schedule it in. We need to get past it's got to be spontaneous, otherwise it's not real and fun. Okay, cheers everyone. Thanks for your time today. You can always use Uprise to book in some coaching and to use the Uprise modules, which are very, very helpful with supporting mental health. We've got a strong evidence base for that. All right, take care.